I think it's like towards the end of the game, the second last boss battle is Oscorp's Ultimate Weapon, like the giant spider slayer type thing. But just what was the inspiration or the thinking behind it when making it? Because it's a stark contrast from the all the other enemies in the game, or at least all the other bosses, where it's this massive, gymongous robot that's blowing stuff at you.
Yeah, I don't remember where the initial inspiration came from. I do remember being terrified of it when people showed me the initial designs, and I'm like, how are you going to make something so big animate smoothly? Like, our animation technology was not great at the time, and so like big things, really big things with like long arcs of travel, like they would get kind of, you know,
Clip through things.
janky. Like I mean, basically, like you remember Shadow of the Colossus. That was sort of I think Ico and Shadow. I think Shadow of the Colossus came out around that time, or maybe a little later.
Yeah,
I'd have to
somewhere
look it
around
up.
there.
I remember being just blown away by Shadow of the Colossus because they managed to like animate these huge creatures, and I thought, wait, that's really hard to do with the current state of our technology. Um, and so yeah, so I was terrified of it, and I pushed back a little, and you want us to be able to move around on this thing. That we're gonna have trouble animating, and you know it's gonna move a meter over one frame, and Spider-Man's gonna have to stay stuck to that. Like, you think you can make that work? And Jason Barr was like, yeah, I can make it work. And it was not as easy as he thought. Like, so you might notice like there are definitely times where it just stops moving a lot, then lets you travel around on it, and then maybe it moves some, and then you can travel some more. Like, we had to really cut down on how much we imagined it was going to move in order to like make something shippable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think if with the bits where it stops moving, it's like a bit of breathing room where it's like, oh, now I can move without getting everything thrown at me, the kitchen sink thrown at me. But yeah, no, it is definitely an intimidating boss. I think that's fair to say, especially when you first stumble across it. It's like, what? Because it just blows rockets and everything at you. So the first boss is Uncle Ben's killer, and his weapons are the shotgun and the flash grenade. It's like, what was the reasoning behind? Obviously, it had to make it something somewhat simple as the introductory boss. But what was just the thinking behind his weapon set? Was there any ideas for anything else with him, or?
I don't remember that at all. What the decision making process was there.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's no worries. The simple answer. Yeah, and so there's like a really really random Easter egg in the game on the Razor's Edge level, where a UFO pops, where a UFO spawns and comes down on a random building. I just really wanted to know what was going on
I don't remember that. I don't remember that one either.
Really? No, it's just so.
I'm not sure I ever knew. I'm not sure I ever knew about that.
Yeah.
I might have been like, who put this UFO here?
Yeah, no, it's like whenever I was like, because I had like a rewatched like a play of the game, and then I was kind of just going through secrets and I stumbled across that, and I was like, I didn't know that was there at all. But yeah, it was just as random as it sounds. Yeah, and then when fighting the Green Goblin in the game, were there any sequences or mechanics or anything that cut during his battles, or was there anything like that was originally, did you want it in the game and had to get removed or anything? Or
I don't remember. I didn't work super closely on the boss battles in that game. So I don't. I sort of don't really remember how they evolved or what decisions went into them.
Yeah, no, it's no worries. And then regarding the difficulty curve of the game, where it does get, once you get into the Oscorp levels, it gets very difficult. Was it always intended to have that type of difficulty curve, or what was the?
Not as far as I know. Like the state of game testing, and again, 18-month game that we're finishing at 11th hour. It definitely came in for a hot landing. It's like we did is we play tested as much as we could. A lot of the early levels just tend to get I think this is true of a lot of games of the era. Like the early levels tend to get a lot more playtesting than the later levels. We didn't really have much in the way of like home use tests where it's like, oh, let's watch somebody play the whole game, over 20 hours. Like not a lot of that happened. QA, the manual QA that we have in-house, they get so good at the game, they don't even know how complex, how hard it is anymore. These days, like Halo, I think was a good example for a team. It's like once they get the game playable, and, start to finish, they still let it bake for another year while they would have like a huge playability lab, go over it over and over and sort of smooth everything out so the difficulty was linear. But we did not have the luxury of that kind of time. Nowadays, I think they do a lot after the fact, right? They launch the game and then look at telemetry to see where it gets hard, and then maybe say, oh, we should probably dial that back. It was very hard. It was very hard to get difficulty right.
I think that's the case with. Yeah, I think that's the case with the old games. And have you ever played Rayman, the PS1?
I have, but not all the way through or anything.
No, yeah, I know it's like kind of infamous for its difficulty spike being like it makes a wall look smooth. Like it's hilariously brutal and punishing. But yeah. No, I do think it's interesting. As you said, a lot of games. Obviously, the front end of the game has a lot more. I guess maybe not in a QA, but a lot more playability, where it's able to smooth out the people are learning these moves and these moves like that. So I do think it's interesting how the later half of games do get somewhat appropriately brutal. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. And if you didn't enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. Right, good luck.